Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea Solorzano, and on this channel we talk all things about manifestation, personal development, and self-growth. So if you like that type of content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, so the purpose of this video is to talk about how we can let go of things and move forward in order to manifest more into your life. And this is what I'm so passionate about. I started this process a little while ago, and I've already been seeing like major changes and shifts. And I'm not talking about like physical shift, like things that I see, like materialistic stuff. Although like obviously like we're all interested in seeing like the materialistic stuff, but I think what's also important that we have to think about is the things that are internal, because we are what we attract. And so if you feel like a wealthy person, you will attract wealth into your life. So I listened to this podcast, and I'll link it down below, but it's a podcast from Kwik. And for those of you who don't know who Kwik is, he's basically he's the world leading brain coach. So he talks about memory, he talks about learning hacks and techniques and all those sorts of things. He's an entrepreneur, and then he wrote the book. It's called Limitless. Again, his name is Kwik, and I'll link his stuff down below. But he totally just changed the game for me, and I think it's going to excel the manifestations that I have just by the language that he spoke about, and like how he talked about letting go of certain things and moving forward. Because essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to create new neural pathways inside our brain, so that way we can start to manifest the things that we want. So he talks about this, one of the things that he talks about is killing the ants inside our head. And it's the way that I want you to think about these ants is they're basically like negative thoughts. And so all of these like things that are just like creeping and crawling and that like are just ruminating in your head, that's what we want to get rid of, the things that aren't serving us, and create those new neural pathways in order to attract the things that we want in our life. So it really does start with your mindset and how you think about it, or how you think about yourself and other things that you're trying to attract. So in order to manifest the things that you want, I would break it down into 5 different categories. So I like to think of career, finances, relationships, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and then physical health. So usually when it comes to leveling up, there's always one or two of those types, from those topics, there's always like one or two of those things that you are having trouble manifest, right? Like there's something there, like you might be doing really good in one topic, but the other topic, your relationships or career, whatever it is, like you'll still see some like stagnant energy and stuff. So this is the purpose of this video is to kind of let that stagnant energy go and then move forward. Because at the end of the day, like we're human, we are emotional beings. We need to feel emotion. And sometimes like we just have to go through that process of feeling like, oh my God, I never want to feel this again. I appreciate you. I feel you, but I'm ready. I'm grateful for you, and I'm ready to let this go to move on to something more. It's something that I think will serve me for my new life, the best part of myself. I hope that makes sense. But I wanted to kind of bring in a manifestation technique that I've been using, and then also incorporate some of Kwik's his techniques, and put that together and see maybe if you guys find use for it, and hopefully it serves you guys too. So I would start out either with whatever topic you want to talk about. Let's just take like career, for example. So what I would write is, and I have my notepad right here, so I'm gonna just write it with you guys. So I would write career. Like this is a journaling technique, so I would start off with writing at the top of the page, career. And then right below career, I would write down, what are my assumptions and attitudes about this topic? So write that question down. What are my attitudes and assumptions about this topic. And then what I would do is I would start, okay, if you can see that, that's that there. If you can see that, it's not focusing. Okay, so there's that. And then I would leave one space in the middle and then start your tangent, right? So again, this is where you're going to write all your attitudes and assumptions about the topic that you wrote down. For this example, we're talking about career, and it's very important to leave one space in between that, if you guys can see that. Yeah, so leave one space in between and then just start going at it. Like start talking about like whatever it is, because like what needs to happen is like you really just need to get real with yourself and like just get to a point where you can just face yourself. And like, I feel like this is like the hardest part for people is that, and this is the inner work. This is like the hardest part for people because, you know, we don't feel good about this. Like we're either embarrassed, we're being judgmental on ourselves, we're just like not feeling good about the whatever it is, you know? And so I think people feel shame and all that stuff. And it just, you know, it's like brings up all these icky feelings that like, you don't want to, again, like face, you don't even want to talk about, you kind of want to keep it on the back burner. But like, again, like I said before, this is the inner work that will kind of help you shift from having that thought and moving it forward into something new. So let's just say I wrote down a bunch of stuff. And like I said, I've practiced this technique like multiple times. Like you guys can see my journal, like it is filled with like freaking pages of like just all of this jargon. And so because I do this work with you guys, like this is not something that I just like talk about and just listen to. This is stuff that like I'm actually working on. And like the reason why I want to do these videos is because I feel very passionate about self-development and personal growth. And this is what, I don't know, I feel like the things that work for me, I feel like can help somebody else and vice versa. So anyways, so like I said, I would write down all of this, all of the stuff, all the things that you feel about yourself, really get into it. You know, if you have to cry, then let yourself cry, you know, give yourself enough time to really just like start getting into it and jotting down everything that you feel. All that stagnant energy, you're basically getting it all out and putting it out on paper. And after that happens, the next thing I want you to do is go back to that line that I told you to skip. And then I want you to write the story I'm telling myself is, right? Okay, so I'm gonna write that down. The story I'm telling myself is ... And then, so there's that. And then that's all and then you just like reread that, right? And then you're just like, damn, like that's where I'm at right now, you know? And so at least that's how I felt. And I was like, wow, that definitely kind of shifted things. And for me, it like helps me kind of just, again, like I said, like face myself, but also just look at myself in a very like vulnerable kind of way to be like, okay, like this is something, like I'm limiting myself in this area. And this is, again, like the story I'm telling myself, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like we all have the power to change like our current reality. It really just starts with our mindset, our identity, and then we can start putting in like the actions, the habits, and those things. And then one small step at a time, we can get to where we want to be. So after you kind of write all of that stuff out, you reread that and you kind of read the story that you're telling yourself. I want you to just take a moment, and this one is like, this is so powerful for me. Like I love visualization techniques, so I hope you do as much as I do. But one thing that I would want you to do is just take a second and just like put your hands on your heart and just close your eyes and just breathe. And just like really just like breathe into your heart and feel like that gift and the gift of life, and just visualize that time in your life where you just felt so worthy, like where you just felt like like, it was kind of like a serendipitous moment. It could be even like you're out in nature and you're just like, wow, like this sunset is so beautiful. Like, think about that time where you're just like, holy shit, like I can't believe I'm alive right now. And like, if you can't think of absolutely anything, then just, again, like just go back to nature. One of the things that I like always fall back into is nature, and I think it's specifically about the ocean. And I'll tell you guys a story about the moment where I just felt like everything just came full circle and I felt like so worthy. So a couple years ago, I want to say like 4 years ago, when I first started kind of getting into this work, and I'm like, okay, let's see like if I, whatever, like let's see like with this like vision board type of stuff. And I did a vision board video, so if you guys are interested in vision boards, like check that out on my page. But anyways, so I had this like stack of like National Geographics because I worked as an artist, so I had like, I've just been like collecting so many like, you know, so many magazines and stuff, like using it as inspiration. And I had this fat stack of National Geographics, and then I like spread them out all over my floor. And then I would just like rip stuff out. Like I would just rip a bunch of papers out, and I just, anything that like made me feel like, oh my God, this would be so cool. Like I just started ripping it out. And then after that, I ended up cutting a bunch of stuff, and then I put it on this like long sheet of paper, and I put it in my closet. And there was this one photo that I had there, and it was like this like ocean scene, but it was like an ocean scene in these like caves. And literally, even though it was like National Geographic, I still wasn't like, I didn't know where it was, because like I said, like I was just like ripping stuff out. I wasn't even looking at stuff like where it's from or whatever. Anyways, so then I ripped this paper out. Couple years go by, 2 years go by, whatever. And then I shit you not, I find myself in that exact place, like literally the exact place. And I can go get for the photo for you guys right now, because like I could not believe that this was happening. Like everything came full circle, because I was like, holy shit, like this was on my vision board for so long. And so then, so I had this moment where I was like in the water, like in the caves, and I was like, oh my God, like I feel seen, I can't, like, it was like my prayers were answered, but I wasn't even thinking that these prayers would be answered, if that makes sense. But because I forgot about that photo, to be honest, like I literally forgot about that photo. And and then I was like, I just like looked at it and I was like, man, this would be cool when I found it. And then I could not believe I was there. So I had this like moment, like I was crying, or sobbing, like just like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel so seen right now. Like I feel like the universe is listening. And I know it sounds so freaking corny, but like it's a thing, it's a real thing. And like, let me go get the photo, by the way. Actually, I'll get it later. So anyways, so get to that point in your heart where you feel that worthiness and you feel that like gift of life. Really, it has to just like feel like a gift of life, and just wait until you feel that shift in your belly. So you can also do this, like put your hand on your tummy, on your gut, and then also on your heart, and just close your eyes and just like wait until you feel that shift where it's just like like that sense of relief. And then after that, because that's powerful. The reason for that is because you want to shift your energy into that positive energy, right? Where you can go back to that topic and speak. I don't want to say like speak in a way that, you know, it's just positive and rainbows and butterflies, but speak in a way that just gives you a different perspective, right? Because like, the way that you're seeing it right now doesn't mean it's true. It just feels true for you right now, but you can shift that. And so you go back, and what you're going to write down after you write down all that stuff, you do your visualization technique, you're gonna write I can, ... Or you could do both. You're gonna write I can and then write something right after. And you can also write I'm grateful for, okay? So, there's that. I mean, obviously you guys can't even read that. It's like upside down, okay, or whatever. It's backwards. But you're gonna write I can and you're gonna write I'm grateful for and then fill in the blank, you know? Even though like I feel this way right now, like I can blah, 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 blah. And I'm grateful for blah, 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 blah. Because like, honestly, like I said, it's seriously just the way that you're looking at it. One of the things that Jim Kwik said that I resonated with so hard was, it's not the problem that's the problem. It's the way that it's your assumptions and attitude about the problem. So let me say that one more time, and I wrote it down too. It's not the problem that's the problem. It's about your assumptions and attitudes about the problem. And so again, like all of this has to do with your mindset. And so what we're doing in this activity is we are starting where we are, right? We're being real. We're assessing, we're auditing what's going on in our mind. We're shifting, we're using a visualization technique that is going to shift your energy and look at it in a different perspective. And then the last thing you're doing is you're self-regulating, basically. You're finding a new, fresh way to look at it. And that way, when you come back to whatever that topic is, you have a new, fresh relationship with that problem or whatever the topic is. And this might take a little while. Like it might take a little while, like give it a week at least, like give it 30 days, give it 21 days, like set a time where you can just like sit down and like write down everything that you're actually feeling about that topic. Like get real with yourself, because nothing changes unless you assess and then you take action after. Like you have to have the agency to move forward, but you really just need to look at yourself and be like, okay, well, this is where I'm at. And yes, I have this goal. And it's all those like baby steps. And this is part of your baby steps, because it starts with your mindset. Like what are your thoughts, actions, feeling, or what are your thoughts and beliefs around that topic, right? So, because you can't move forward and get to where you want to be if you don't feel like you deserve it, if you don't feel like you're capable of it. Like you have to be able to change your mindset that is surrounding that topic. All right, guys, so I hope that helps. Like I said, I'll link the podcast down below. It was so powerful. I'm like obsessed with his work. I need to buy one of his books. Like I read his book, or I listened to it on Audible, but like it's one of those books that you just it's like a good thing to keep like rereading, because you learn so much from his stuff like every time you listen to it. Okay guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye, happy manifesting. All right guys, I wanted to pull up the picture and like, it's Wilmer. I wanted to pull up the picture and like the picture doesn't really do it justice, but this is it right there. That's me and my boyfriend. But like, it's so cool. It was so cool. It was in Tulum, Mexico, and it was literally like, I don't know, it was amazing. It was freaking amazing. So if you guys ever like want to go to Tulum, like go see the cenotes.